How's it going, everyone? Tomorrow is the Formidable 50K trail race in Auburn, California. I'll be participating in that 50K, and it'll be my first ultramarathon since the Western States 100 last year in June. The 50K for Formidable is the USATF National Championship race for the trails in 2017. There's also a 35.5K, a half marathon, and a 13K race distance option for people to choose from. There's a lot of local runners from the Modesto area headed up there, especially from the Dusty Bottoms Trail Runners group. So going to make a good showing of Dusty Bottoms runners, go DB, and we'll have some fun during the day, and I'm sure drink some beer after the race as well. The Formidable 50K has 4 significant climbs, thus giving it its name, 4, the number 4, Formidable. There's Cardiac Hill, K2 or the Training Hill, Knickenbocker, and Overlook Hill. Those 4 climbs add up to some 6,000 feet of elevation gain for the 50K course. And given the wet and muddy conditions that we've had recently, that climbing is going to be that much more difficult. It's not a lot of overall climbing, but the trails are going to be very, very slippery, very muddy, and I'm sure we'll have some shoe-sucking mud out there for some people as well. So this video, basically, I'm going to run through some of basically the 3 questions that I get asked all the time when I go to do an ultramarathon. Those 3 questions are, what products are you using? You know, the type of gear, hydration pack, shoes, socks, that kind of stuff. What's your nutrition and fueling strategy for the race? And then what's your overall goal as well for the race? So in just a few brief minutes here, I'm going to answer those questions for everybody as they pertain to me and my participation in the Formidable 50K tomorrow. So as I do more and more ultras every single year, I seem to simplify my approach in terms of products that I'm using as well as my nutrition. Also, early in the year, like this is a good time to experiment with some stuff. So there's going to be some different things that I'm doing tomorrow, putting to the test, that I'm going to have to review later on to see if there's something I want to continue or if it's something that I need to move away from altogether. So as far as gear, the number one thing that I always get asked is about a hydration pack. And I did a review recently on the Orange Mud Hydro Quiver Vest Pack 1 on my website, which I'll link in this video. And I've been a long time user of Solomon hydration packs. And absolutely nothing wrong with the Solomon brand. Absolutely still love that pack. It has its right place. But what I was finding is I had too much space in that pack to carry things, and thus I was carrying too much stuff during my ultras that I was never using. So I wanted something that was a little bit more simplified, a little bit more streamlined, that still accomplished the goal of what I needed a hydration pack for, which was mostly just carrying my water and the little bit of gear that I actually needed. So thus the Orange Mud Hydro Quiver Vest Pack 1 is my pack for tomorrow's race. Just 1 bottle full of water on the back, and then I'll be carrying a soft flask here on the shoulder. This guy right here will go into that pocket, and that will be where I'm getting my calories from out of Tailwind Nutrition. Other products that I'm using tomorrow besides that Orange Mud Hydro Quiver pack, shoe-wise, that's probably the second most popular question I get asked. A beat-up pair of Hoka Challenger ATR 2s is what I'll be using on the trails. I figure with the really soft conditions, the fact that these are a little worn down probably is not going to hurt me too much. You know, still it's got good tread on there, but these guys aren't going to last much longer. Probably this race and then maybe a couple other small ones, and I'm going to have to get a new pair of trail shoes. So that's pretty much the 2 big things on gear. Obviously, you know, I'm using Injinji toe socks. I'm using an anti-chafing product as well to keep blisters and chafing down called Squirrel's Nut Butter. The reason why I like the Squirrel's Nut Butter, it comes in a very small stick. It's very deodorant type stick. It's very easy to carry with me, take you places. Actually, I think I got it right here. There you go. Very small, very easy to stick in the pack, so that way I can pull that out at an aid station if I need to get some more. So as far as nutrition and fueling strategy goes, you know, this is an area that you could go on and on and on about. I've tried pretty much everything under the sun. I've done one thing, I've done the next, I've gone back to that other thing again. It's an area that constantly changes and evolves. It depends on the weather, depends on the course, depends on the aid stations, all kinds of stuff. But the main product that I've used over the years with ultramarathons has been Tailwind Nutrition. 200 calories a serving. I'm carrying 3 stick packs, as they call them, so 3 servings of Tailwind, 1 in the flask already, and then 2 additional servings of that. That's a total of 600 calories. So given the day is a 50K, and that I would normally consume about 100 to 150 calories per hour, that's going to be more than enough calories right there. As far as additional nutrition, I may, as I come into an aid station, depending on how the day is going and how I'm feeling, grab something as far as maybe a piece of candy, a piece of chocolate, some fruit, some chips, things like that. But I try to steer away from that stuff as much as possible because it seems to cause so much digestion issues for me. The one thing that I am doing differently tomorrow is how I get my caffeine. In the past, I've always gotten my caffeine from Tailwind Nutrition using either the green tea or the raspberry buzz flavors. But I want to separate more my calories and my energy source in terms of when I want that pick-me-up from an actual caffeine source. So the product that I'm using there that I've been playing around with in my training runs is Run Gum. It's a caffeinated gum that when you chew it, the caffeine and some B vitamins and some other things are released into your body, into your bloodstream. And if you don't want to chew the gum anymore after that, you don't have to. You can spit it out, or you can keep chewing it to freshen your breath and help maybe distract your mind from what's going on out of the trails if you need to. So Run Gum, no calories to that. It's going to get that caffeine, that energy pick-me-up when I want it without bogging down my system with something else as far as a coffee or a caffeinated beverage or something like that. So trying to reduce the chances of something else upsetting my system. So again, first time using it in an ultra marathon tomorrow. So we will see how it goes. So again, nutrition, real quick, just about 150 calories per hour is my take. Majority of this, that is through liquid. So last question I always get asked is, what's my goal for tomorrow? What's my race strategy? My training has been lacking, to be honest. I've only been running about 20 to 30 miles per week, and I only have a long run of about 15, 16 miles that I've done a couple times. Sometimes that has been on trails with some good elevation change, which is a positive. Other times that 15 or 16 has just been on flat ground here in Modesto. So my training is not quite there as what I want it to be for an ultra marathon. It's still very early in the year, and I recognize that, and I'm comfortable with that fact. But I still want to perform well tomorrow. So I'm going to be relying a lot on the strength work that I've done recently and a lot on my past experiences with ultramarathons and the fact that I'm familiar with this course area a little bit, as some of it takes place on the Western States Trail. So I've done a lot of strength work recently. So I'm going to be starting out at a slower pace than I probably normally would for a 50K and try to nail down that pace correctly to rely more on my strength, the strength gains that I've had in recent weeks, as opposed to tapping into the endurance that I know I don't have right now. So trying to fine-tune that pace for tomorrow that's going to sustain me and allow me to maybe run more of the climbs later in the day than I normally would, but maybe not be as fast. So not a bad approach, I don't think. Relying more on my strength, I can always build my endurance back up. And if I can be a stronger runner in the process, once I get that endurance back to where it was during Western States last year, then I think that strength work that I've been doing will be a great complement to it. So time-wise, at the absolute most, I could see myself maybe going 5 hours tomorrow if everything plays out. But given the lack of endurance in the wet and muddy conditions that we have, I think probably 5.5 to 6 hours for me tomorrow is more realistic, and that will be what I'm kind of shooting for early in the day. And if things feel good later in the day, then I'll push a little bit harder. I'd like to be competitive, but it's just not there right now in the year. So I recognize that, and we're just going to go have fun, hang out with some local trail runners, and get back into the scene of trail racing and ultra marathons, and then start gearing up training for Tahoe Rim Trail 100 in July. So that's a quick rundown of the Formidable 50K and my strategy, my nutrition, and some of the products that I've been using. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there on the trails.